Hello everyone, I'm Movie Master 222 and I'm here to review John Wick Chapter 2. A few years ago when the first trailers for John Wick came out, I was among many people who assumed that this was just going to be another run-of-the-mill Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, or Liam Neeson action movie that each of those actors seem to churn out a few times a year. Instead, we ended up getting treated to an engaging, stylized movie with a deep-rooted mythology that only got slightly explored. John Wick was easily one of the best American action movies to come out in recent memory, and its sequel, fortunately for all of us, keeps that momentum going. The movie is a worthy successor to the initial John Wick film. It delivers on the stylized action and set pieces that we were shown in the first movie and doubles down on them by making the action far more violent than the first movie ever dreamt it could be. The first few minutes of John Wick Chapter 2 settles any lingering plot threads from the first movie as John Wick mercilessly deals with the remnants of the Russian mob and settles up with the current leader. From there, the sequel explores the mythology that was briefly glanced at in the first movie, that of the secret world occupied by criminals and assassins that John Wick was formerly the best of the best of. John finds himself drawn into the politics of this secret organization as he's asked to kill off a high-ranking member of the ruling council of the International Assassins Guild, who's known in the movie as the High Table. Whereas in the first movie, the only really memorable fight of worth besides John just laying waste to a bunch of random mooks that the Russians sent after him was his fight with... In the first movie, John laid waste to an army of Russian mooks that Russian mob kept sending after him, but the only real memorable fight he had against anyone of worth was against Miss Perkins. And while in the sequel he does lay waste again to his fair share of random faceless mobster guards, this sequel sees him fighting against well-trained assassins like Miss Perkins, and a few of those fights come from confrontations with the character Cassian, played by Common, who proves to be one of the few characters able to hold his own in a one-on-one confrontation with John Wick. I also personally enjoyed a fight John had with a very large Asian fellow, and a fight with a group of assassins where John demonstrates once for all that he can indeed kill a few people with just a pencil. The action in this movie is impressive when you compare it to a lot of the, frankly speaking, trash action we've been getting from Hollywood these last few years. It easily goes on par with such foreign action films like the Raid series, which among many circles is considered these days to be the gold standards in terms of action. The film also benefits from having a very talented supporting cast made up of notable actors such as Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne, which brings a bit of gravitas that you don't normally see in these kinds of action movies. Even Ruby Rose, who doesn't have any vocal lines in the film, is used to great effect via acting body language and intent in the movie. In a time when we're flooded with sequels, rehashes, and just the same old garbage, John Wick Chapter 2 is a very refreshing movie to see. And while it's true that it is a sequel, it allows us to take another ride on a very enjoyable trip that we took a few years back. If you enjoyed the first movie, I'd highly recommend you go see this movie in the theaters to get an extra oomph that you don't really get from seeing it in a home setup. If you weren't a fan or didn't see the first John Wick, I still recommend you should try to go see it. Although, frankly speaking, if you weren't into the first one, there's no reason you should spend your money on going to see this. It does not change the formula very much, but for those who enjoyed the formula the first time around, it is a treat. That's all for now. I'm Movie Master 222, and I'll see you all next time.